Hello, in this video I'm going to teach you about addressing selection criteria in your medical trainee post-application or cover letter. Specifically today we'll be talking about how to address common selection criteria. In future videos we will talk about the difference between essential and desirable criteria and also what to do if there are no apparent selection criteria. And I'll be doing this by showing you some real examples using cover letters and some examples from JMO or House Officer recruitment sites from across Australia and New Zealand. Hi there, I'm Anthony, the Career Doctor. We put together content to help doctors of all stages with their career challenges. I have some very unique knowledge and skills in medicine, and I'm keen to share this with as many doctors as possible. So, if you find these videos useful, I'd like you to consider doing all of the following. Clicking on the subscribe button so you can be a member of the channel, and turning on notifications so you get an alert every time we do a new video. I do at least one a week. You can also give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I don't care either way, feedback's always good, and leave me a comment. So in this series, we're focusing on the job application process for trainees. So I've been getting a few questions from both medical students as well as trainees about cover letters and selection criteria. So today I'm going to cover how to address selection criteria using the example of some selection criteria from a JMO recruitment website. Okay guys, so we're going to go through the process of filling in the application section or addressing selection criteria for a job. Firstly, starting with an online application, then I'm going to show you how to turn that information into a bit of a cover letter to go in with your application. So on Google, I've just typed in JMO eRecruit here in the search bar, and I know that links us to one of the New South Wales Health JMO recruitment sites. This is the main one where lots of doctor jobs are advertised. There are actually quite a few different systems. So at the moment, the annual medical recruitment system isn't actually up for application, so I can't show you that, but this is a similar one. And what we are going to do here is firstly we need to sign in. So I've made an account on this system. So I'm just going to log into that. So here we go. So signing in, and I've got to agree to the privacy statement. So we now need to search for a job. Now I know that if we look here, we see a range of titles, and I know that there's an actually intern job currently listed, and it's a bit interesting because you will see here there's an intern position, pre-vocational training network 10, Wagga Wagga based hospital, applications closed 29th of the 5th, 2018. I'm not sure what that's about. I don't think that aligns with I don't believe that aligns with rural preferential recruitment. That doesn't give people a lot of time to apply. It may just be a job posted to recruit people mid-year, perhaps also international medical graduates, who knows. But here we go. So we've clicked on the link and we can sort of run through the position details. It's quite standard stuff. You give a title, position number, employment status. Most medical jobs are full-time. Exempt means that it's not an ongoing permanent position. There's the application closed, network, facility, specialty, etc. Award, that's pretty standard. New South Wales public hospitals, clinical officers. Award. You can see the main person position. That gives you a bit of a clue as to what they're looking for. Again, I think this is kind of a standard templated thing. I've seen this before. Although there's a bit of a hero section here in relation to how Wagga Wagga Hospital performs, but you see the purpose of the position is to be an intern and do at least 47 weeks of satisfactory experience. That's the requirement of Medical Board of Australia with core terms, etc. They give you a bit of a feel for the rotations. Then we've got a lot of position requirements, and this goes on and on and on. And I think this is one of the unfortunate things of particularly how the public recruitment systems works. There's a lot of requirements here, and it's not really till we get down right to the bottom here. Sometimes things here like challenges of problem solving can be very helpful in understanding a role. It's not till we get right down the bottom here that we actually see the crux of the matter. So, I mean, I encourage people to review all aspects of position descriptions, but often there's a little bit of administrivia, let's say, in there in terms of things that just have to be put in there. Often it's kind of, we've warned you about this sort of stuff, but what they're going to select you on, or what they should select you on, is the criteria. So we see there's 7 here, so we're gonna have a look at how you would go about applying there. So you obviously want to read the position, you want to know a little bit about it, etc. But we're just going to focus on applying via the selection criteria. So we could press this print button. That would download all this information, which would be very handy because we could have that beside ourselves whilst we go through the rest of the process. But what we're going to do now is click on this Apply Now button, and I'll show you what then pops up. Okay, so we had to spend a little bit of time there actually setting up a profile. So I'm now going to search for this position again. Click on the intern. I'm going to spin down all the way to the bottom. I'm going to go to Apply Now. Now you're about to apply for the following position. And it gives you a bit of a warning about a timeline activity. So this is where actually you do get, most of the systems you get opportunities to save and go back. So this is where it's good to have like a Word document or something like that that can help you in terms of cutting and pasting, etc. So you could actually start this from the basis of writing the cover letter and then copy and pasting into the application if you like. We're going to press continue. So they're now asking me for some supporting documents. Okay, so we're finally here in the online application portal. So this is interesting. So the first thing we notice here is we've got the 7 criteria, and the first one is just really a tick box. And so this would be similar on the cover letter. Most medical training job applications are asking you to address selection criteria, some of which will vary quite significantly from applicant to applicant, but some of which are just really a yes or no. So they here are not wanting you to spend much time on this issue. Do you have a degree in medicine from an Australian or New Zealand university or suitable qualifications that would enable you to obtain provisional registration with the Australian Medical Board as an intern? Yes or no? So we're just going to click yes. Then the other ones are asking for a statement. So we've got demonstrated commitment to rural practice and rural communities, an understanding of the roles of a doctor and other healthcare professionals, demonstrated high-level written, verbal, interpersonal communication skills, knowledge and understanding of a rural doctor's responsibilities, an understanding of and commitment to positive workplace culture, demonstrated commitment to continued professional development, including formal education and self-directed learning. So let's have a crack at filling them in. Okay, so what I've done here is set up a letter template for an application for Mr. Michael Jones, who's a final year medical student at a regional university. This is of course not a real medical student, and I'm not going to submit this actual application. This is just for demonstration purposes. So we can see we've put down some details, including the contact person, the Wagga Wagga Base Hospital. And I'm just going to pop over here now and show you that where the position is, and you can see right down the bottom, this is normally where it is. You can see the position details for the person you can contact. Now, this sometimes is a doctor, but more often than not is a manager. They may or may not be on the interview panel. But that's the contact details. So you always refer to the person who's the contact. Now the other thing that we're going to look up here at the top is we want to grab some details here. So we want to refer to the exact position in the CV. So we can see that we've got a position number. I'm just going to copy paste that. It's an intern role, position number. It's at Wagga Wagga Base Hospital, and it's in pre-vocational training. Network number 10. So now I'm popping over into the letter, and we're going to start filling in this application. So we're applying for an intern position. It's number 16313.
It's at the Wagga Wagga Base Hospital. Network 10. I'm just gonna pop back over and check that again. That's pre-vocational training network 10. That's correct. Yes. So go back again. Let's fill that out correctly. Okay, so now we can start it. Now we can see here that I've actually literally copied and pasted the selection criteria into this Word document. I'm just going to get rid of this logo because we probably don't want a logo as a medical student. So we need to start with a statement, some sort of statement of enthusiasm, why you're applying for the position, and then the thing is to get straight into, as quickly as possible, to then giving them the evidence of your eligibility, the fact that you address the selection criteria. So we just want like a 1 or 2 sentence statement, and then we proceed to giving them the evidence. So I'm going to write, it is with great enthusiasm that I wish to submit an application for this role in relation to the selection criteria, or the job criteria. I can submit the following evidence. So now you've got a few options here. You can use headings, and that's okay. In fact, headings do draw the attention of the viewer. I prefer not to in my cover letters. I'm going to show you a technique where you can sort of bold some of the selection criteria so that they leap out as well. So the first one here is a degree in medicine from Australian Uni. Now, remember when we looked at the online application, this was either yes or no. So you don't really need to put a lot of evidence here. So I'm going to put, I'll be graduating into the year with a degree from my university. As I see here, so it's a yes or no thing, so we just don't want to spend too much time on this one. I mean, you could, if you had, like you knew you're on track for a distinction or won some great award or something like that, you could put that in there as well. But otherwise, that's really the evidence that they want for this section, or this selection criteria, I should say. So our next criteria is about demonstrated commitment to rural practice and rural communities. Now, I'm just going to put something down that's kind of, you often see here in a CV from someone who is applying for a rural preferential recruitment. So this is a little bit like the career goal statement in terms of drawing out the best stuff. So you can, and it's good to try and use the language as much as possible. I have a and you can even do this, you can even try sort of bolding that. We might see how that to rural practice and rural communities. I am originally from a rural town in Central West. I studied at the regional University of the Regions as a bonded rural medical student and undertook the majority of my terms rural location. I was the recipient of the Rural Primary Care Award in Year 4. My desire and this is where you can make personal statements, because this is about what you want to do. The strong desire is to become a general practitioner and return to Central West to serve the community where I was born and raised, something like that. Next one. So this one's another one around rural environment. So you could say something like this. This is where you can start to point towards your CV. My curriculum by demonstrates that I have been able to attain a high level of understanding of the roles of doctors and health pressure by, for example, undertaking hospital and primary health care placements with a range of highly capable teams in rural locations. You might want to shorten this sentence. For example, I have completed I was the recipient of the Rural Team Award in Year 3, a challenge where students had to demonstrate the differences in patient care rural versus primary versus urban primary care healthcare environment. So you want to also show that you know about the role of the doctor. So I believe that the role of doctor as team member and team leader is from these experiences even more important in a rural healthcare team environment. Okay, so the next one, this is a really hard one to address in an application or cover letter, because this is one that's really partly accessible at the actual interview, because it's about verbal and interpersonal skills. I mean, you can demonstrate evidence. It's kind of a funny one to put down for people to address. You know, there's probably better ways of seeking evidence around this rather than asking people whether they have high-level written, verbal, and interpersonal skills, because everyone's going to say that they do, or at least they're not going to say they don't. Again, there may be something that you can put down that can sort of attest to that. So, throughout my medical studies, I have been able to demonstrate high level. I think I'm just going to shorten this. Pop that down there. My written assignments have, including research submissions, have all received distinction or higher grading. I have performed above satisfactorily in all workplace-based assessments, including those involving direct patient contact and communication. We've got this bit about the ability to much of this assessment has occurred in a rural setting, and therefore I believe that I have had the ability to have had the opportunity to demonstrate that I am You can see this is already getting onto the second page, though I have done a fair bit of padding here, so you could remove some of that stuff. Like we might take a couple of lines out there, although we want to make sure that our sections go okay. Yeah, so if I bring that up too far, that's going to flow on. Okay, so we've got 3 more to go. Knowledge and understanding of a rural doctor's responsibilities concerning patients' privacy and right to confidentiality. As part of my medical studies, we have completed core training in relation to confidentiality and privacy, including the mandatory New South Wales health modules required for both clinical placements. In addition, I have been fortunate to attend a pre-intern boot camp at my local hospital, where a session on a patient's privacy, right to confidentiality was covered. Now you could go on to say how patient's privacy and confidentiality is even more important in a rural setting, where there's some arguments for that being the case, particularly given small communities. Things can, if something's revealed, it can get around a bit easier. But I'm just going to leave that. So we've talked a fair bit about that, your rural credentials already. This second last one, I'm just going to leave for a second. So yes, I'm going to leave the second last one and just come down here, demonstrated, continued. So I have, throughout my medical studies, I believe strongly that it is the role of the individual rural doctor to take charge of their professional development in consultation with their healthcare team and community. By consulting with their healthcare team and community to factor in local needs. Throughout my medical studies, I have demonstrated by undertaking elective opportunities in relation to rural general practice, which is my career goal, as well as enrolling as a student member of the Rural Doctors Network, and undertaking additional training via this organisation and linking in with a mentor. Okay, so we've got this last one here that says, remove that, an understanding of and commitment to positive workplace culture and high quality customer service reflects our core values of collaboration, openness, respect and empowerment. It builds upon public sector core values of integrity, trust, service and accountability. So there's generally some sort of values-based assessment nowadays in most of these applications. All organisations tend to have a set of values. So what you can do here, here's a bit of a clue. So this is obviously from New South Wales, and this is referring to what we call the core values, and then also the New South Wales public sector values. There's a lot of a mouthful here, but I'm just going to quickly do a search. New South Wales Health Core Values. There we go. Our core values, and see we got a link to HETI, which is the Health Education and Training Institute that does a lot of work around these things. Might just open up a tab around that. So here we go, we've got a bit more information. So if you're sort of stuck for what are these values and maybe haven't come across them, there's some more information here, and we could use some of these examples, link them to our own values, and something down if necessary, and this will be the same for pretty much everywhere. You just got to do a bit of a search for organisational values. We'll just pop back over. Okay. So look, again, everyone's going to say that they love the values. Don't go overboard on this. This is something that's going to be assessed through the interview and ideally also your referee checks. So I'm just going to say, through my reason for applying for medicine was to work in a team, in a collaborative environment environment where there was honesty and respect for patients. I believe I have demonstrated throughout my studies that I embrace the South Wales Health core values of, I'm just gonna seems a bit of a mouthful, but it's a formal letter, so you should always spell it out. Values are important to a positive workplace culture and patient satisfaction. I would encourage you to review the written references from my referees who have been able to observe me in action in the healthcare environment. These would be the best sources of evidence to affirm I am a strong, that I can contribute to a positive workplace culture. Something like that. I haven't bolded anything there because I've already pulled that one apart. So that's the letter. We'd obviously sign and date it, put your email and your phone number just like you do on your CV, but that's pretty much it. So our last challenge is now to actually complete the online application. I'm just going to do a section of that because I'm sure you know what I'm going to do next. So I am just going to grab this, literally, Control-C, and then I am going to go over here where I've opened up this, and hopefully the browser hasn't timed me off, and I am going to paste. And with this one, sometimes you've got to be with the online, you've got to be make sure that it doesn't reformat. And it has a little bit here, so I think you can kind of, you might have scope to do a bit of, I think this might just format it back for you, but you can sort of set it out a bit. And then we can go Control-C, paste, cut, paste, cut, paste, cut, paste. And then you can save, continue. I'm just going to maybe continue here. No, it won't let me because I've got to put everything else in there. You see what I mean there? So that's how you can put together a cover letter as well as fill in the online application at the same time, be a little bit more streamlined about it. And also in your cover letter, again, point them back towards your CV. You put some evidence in your cover letter, and also we've noticed we've also pointed them towards our referees as well.
So thanks for watching. I'll just let you know that we have a number of other videos on the channel in relation to the job application and interview process. They are all collected in a playlist that's called Medical Career Transitions. I look forward to seeing you the next time, and don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave me a comment. Goodbye for now.